नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 3, Chapter 8, Manifestation of Brahma from Garbhodaksha Vishnu, text number 3 onwards. So Maitreya Muni is answering Vidura's questions. Asinam urvyam bhagavatam atyam sankarshanam devam akunta sattvam vivitsa vatva mataha parasya kumara mukhya manyo anvapritchan. So all the questions that Vidurji has, now Maitreya Muni is saying, some time ago, being inquisitive to know, Sanat Kumar, the chief of the boy saints, accompanied by other great sages, inquired exactly like you about the truths regarding Vasudeva, the Supreme Lord, from Lord Sankarshan, who is seated at the bottom of the universe. Now, that's another fourth conversation. So, three conversations we know, Shaunak Rishi and the sages with Sut Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami, Vidurji and Maitreya Muni, and Maitreya Muni saying same questions were asked by Sanat Kumar. All the four Kumaras, they went to Lord Sankarshan in Patal Loka, who's seated at the bottom of the universe, to learn Bhagavatam from him, to listen Bhagavatam from him. So that's another conversation that will start now. This is in the clarification of the statement that the Lord spoke directly on the Srimad Bhagavatam. When and unto whom the Bhagavatam was spoken is explained herewith. Questions similar to those put forward by Vidura were asked by great sages like Sanat Kumar and Lord Sankarshan, the plenary expansion of Supreme Lord Vasudeva, answered them. So, probably, see, in the shloka it is said, Sanat Kumar, the chief of the boy saints, mean the chief of the four Kumaras, accompanied by other great sages, they asked Lord Sankarshan or Ananshesha this question. So means, looks like Maitreya Muni was there in that assembly of great sages. They can know the question and answers even while not being there, but looks like he was there as well. He heard the answers, and now he's just remembering all this, and he's going to speak. Text number 4. Swameva dhishnayam bahumanyantam yadvasudeva vidhamananti pratyek dhritaksham bhujakoshamisha ishad unmilayantam vibhodayaya. At that time, Lord Sankarshan was meditating upon his Supreme Lord, whom the learned esteem as Lord Vasudeva. But for the sake of the advancement of the great learned sages, he slightly opened his lotus-like eyes and began to speak. So here, although it is said Lord Sankarshan, but he was actually Ananshesha himself, the great serpent, the great snake. And look at what Maitreya Muni is saying. He slightly opened his lotus-like eyes. Although he is in the form of a snake, but his eyes are compared to lotus. And his eyes were closed. He was meditating on the Supreme Lord. So this is the beauty of Bhagavatam, and this is the beauty of the devotees. How it is described. Swardhunyadra Swardhunyudadra Swajata Kalaper Upasprishantascharnopadhanam Padmam Yadarchanti Ahirajakanya Saprema Nana Balibhir Varartha. The sages came from the highest planets down to the lowest region through the water of the Ganges, and therefore the hair on their heads were wet. They touched the lotus feet of the Lord, which were worshipped with various paraphernalia by the daughters of the serpent king when they desire good husbands. So another evidence from Bhagwatam that Ganges, Mother Ganges goes all the way down to Patal Loka to purify all the lokas, right from Brahmaloka all the way down to Patal Loka. So it is said they came via Ganges. So Ganges, when she meets in Ganga at Ganga Sagar, where she meets the ocean, she doesn't really merge or she doesn't really disappear in the ocean. She goes down to the Pataloka from that point on. Now, which scientist is going to do research on this and prove this? Nobody can. The Ganges water flows directly from the lotus feet of Vishnu, and its course runs from the highest planet of the universe down to the lowest. The sages came down from Satyaloka by taking advantage of the flowing water, a process of transportation made possible by the power of mystic yoga. If a river flows thousands and thousands of miles, a perfect yogi can at once transport himself from one place to another simply by dipping in its water. So this is what yogis do, and this is one of the eight siddhis. They can suppose in Ganges, even on earth, if you think of, they can take a dip in the Ganges at Gangotri and they'll come out at Haridwar or maybe Calcutta. It's a siddhi. The Ganges is the only celestial river which flows throughout the universe, and great sages travel all over the universe via this sacred river. The statement that their hair was wet indicates that it was directly moistened by the water originated from the lotus feet of Vishnu, the Ganges. Whoever touches the Ganges, water of the Ganges to his head surely touches the lotus feet of the Lord directly and can become free from all effects of sinful acts. If after taking a bath in the Ganges or being washed of all sins, a man guards himself against committing further sinful acts, then certainly he is delivered. But if he again takes up sinful activities, his bath in the Ganges is as good as that of an elephant, who nicely takes his bath in a river but later spoils the whole thing by covering himself with dust on the dust of the land. So Ganges water is very, very powerful, very potent. Spiritual potency is there, so much so that all the reactions of sinful acts can go away. All the um, sins can be washed by taking a dip in the Ganges. But the problem is the thing that one has to be careful about is not to commit further sins after taking bath in Ganges. And another beautiful story I had read was once in Kumbh Mela. Parvati Devi, she asked Shivji that it is rare, it is written and it is said by sages that anybody who takes bath in the Sangam at Kumbh Mela, all his sins are wiped out. But she was like, all these people who are walking back after taking bath, it doesn't look like their sins are wiped out. The sins are gone. Why is it that? So Shivji said, okay, let me give you a demonstration first. So Shivji said, let's both take the form of poor villager husband-wife, and I'll take the form of a very old man, and you take the form of a my wife as woman, and you beg everybody who's come back from taking bath in the Sangam, and then let's see what happens. So Shivji sat down as a very old, dilapidated, disabled person on the path where people were walking back from taking bath in Sangam. And Parvati ji, she was asking everybody, oh, see, my husband, he's very old and he's sick and he cannot go to Sangam. So you have gone, you've taken bath, you have, all your sins are wiped out. Why don't you bless my husband so his sins are also wiped out? And people just started walking away. They just, they said, we have nothing to do with all this. So then Parvati understood, because these people don't even have faith in Sangam, in Kumbh Mela, in the scriptures, that all your sins are wiped out, washed out. If you take bath in Kumbh Mela at that time, in Sangam. But they don't have faith. So if they don't have faith when they take bath, it will not have the full effect on the consciousness. So they didn't have faith that our sins are wiped out, so they were not ready to give blessings to this old man. And also, it is also true that Prabhupada said that people start committing more sins after they come back. So they get the reactions. Text 6. Muhur grinanto vatsanuragas khalat padenasya kritani tajya kirita sahasramani praveka pradyodito tadam fana sahasram. The four Kumaras, headed by Sanat Kumar, who all knew the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, glorified the Lord in rhythmic accents with selected words full of affection and love. At that time, Lord Sankarshan, with his thousands of raised hoods, began to radiate in effulgence from the glowing stones on his head. The Lord is sometimes addressed as Uttam Shloka, which means one who is worshipped with selected words by devotees. A profusion of such selected words comes from a devotee who is fully absorbed in affection and love for the devotional service of the Lord. There are many instances in which even a small boy who was a great devotee of the Lord could offer excellent prayers in the choicest words for glorification of the pastimes of the Lord. In other words, without the development of fine affection and love, one cannot offer prayers to the Lord very suitably. So the qualification to offer prayers to the Lord is not that one has to become a Sanskrit scholar and he has to know all the scriptures and he has to be whatever Digvijayi or knower of all the Vedas and choices of words, and he can pray. No, or glorify the Lord. Prabhupada, even a small boy could offer excellent prayers in the choicest words for glorification of the pastimes of the Lord. Actually, this is in reference to both Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. So Dhruv Maharaj, when he saw the Lord after his tapasya, he could not speak. None of the words came out. So Lord very kindly, he touched his head, Dhruv Maharaj's head with his shankha, with his conch shell. And then Dhruv Maharaj started speaking. And he glorified the Lord with pure, profuse words. Very, very highly qualified words. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj was, when he was watching the fight between his father and Lord Nrsimhadev, and he saw his father getting killed. After that, Nrsimhadev was very angry. All the devotees, all the demigods, they came. Brahmaji, Shivji, Indra, everybody, even Lakshmiji came. They tried to pacify the Lord, but the Lord was still so angry. That how dare any demon touch my devotee, try to kill my devotee? So Lord was not getting pacified by the prayers by the demigods. So then Brahmaji, he pushed Prahlad Maharaj. It's because of you the Lord came and he is so angry. You better go and pray to the Lord. And when Prahlad Maharaj comes to the Lord, in front of the Lord, Lord Nrsimhadev becomes completely pacified. He looks at Prahlad Maharaj like a little boy, like a father, and he puts his lotus hand on the head of Prahlad Maharaj. That's why Tavakara Kamalavare, we sing Narsingarti. And when he put his lotus hand, the palm part, the hand, because Lord didn't want to touch him with his nails, thinking his nails might hurt Prahlad. So when he put his lotus palms on the head of Prahlad Maharaj, then Prahlad Maharaj offered prayers, glorified the Lord with choicest of prayers. And Lord was very pleased. So it's only because somebody has love and devotion and affection for the Lord, he can pray, he can glorify the Lord properly. Text 7. Proktam kila tad bhagvatamena nivritti dharmabhiratayatena sanat kumare suchaha prishta sankhya nayang dhritvritaya. Lord Sankarshan thus spoke the purport of Srimad Bhagwatam to the great sage Sanat Kumar, who had already taken the vow of renunciation. Sanat Kumar also in his turn, when inquired of by Sankhayan Muni, explained Srimad Bhagwatam as he had heard it from Sankarshan. This is the way of the Parampara system. Although Sanat Kumar, the well-known great saintly Kumar, was in the perfect stage of life, still he heard the message of Srimad Bhagwatam from Lord Sankarshan. Similarly, when he was questioned by Sankhyayan Rishi, he spoke to him the same message he had heard from Lord Sankarshan. In other words, unless one hears from the proper authority, one cannot become a preacher. So, preacher, or to glorify the Lord, to preach the glories of the Lord, one has to hear from proper authority. So he doesn't make up stories or make up philosophy or interpret in his own way. No such thing. Just hear and speak. In devotional service, therefore, 2 items out of 9, namely hearing and chanting, are most important. Without hearing nicely, one cannot preach the message of Vedic knowledge. So hearing is very important. So that's why it's the first step, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So Shravanam, it starts with Shravanam. And actually, reading Prabhupada books also is a part of hearing. It's basically we are hearing from Prabhupada when we are reading his commentaries. So this is also part of hearing. So one should read Prabhupada's books very thoroughly, very nicely. Sankhyayanah param hanse mukhyo vivakshamano bhagavad vibhuti jagat swasmad gurve anvitaya parasharayat brihaspratescha. The great sage Sankhyayan was a chief amongst the transcendentalists, and when he was describing the glories of the Lord in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, it so happened that my spiritual master Parashar and Brihaspati both heard him. So Maitreya Muni is telling. So I guess Maitreya Muni heard it from Parashar Muni, and Parashar Muni heard from Sankhyan, and Sankhyan ji heard from Sanat Kumar directly. So Maitreya Muni was not in that assembly. I was wrong. Sorry. Provacha mayam sadayalu rukto munih pulastena purana madhyam soaham tave tat kathayami vatsa shraddhalave nityam anuvritaya. The great sage Parashar, as aforementioned, being so advised by the great sage Pulastya, spoke unto me, the foremost of the Puranas, Bhagavatam. I shall also describe this before you, my dear son, in terms of my hearing, because you are always my faithful follower. So Maitreya Muni learned from Parashar Muni. Parashar Muni is also a father of Ved Vyasji. So Maitreya Muni and Ved Vyas can be considered but at the same level. And Vidurji is son of Ved Vyas. So that's also One of the reasons Maitri is calling him as my dear son. The great sage of the name Pulastya is the father of all demoniac descendants. Hmm. So that's another curious case. Why he gives birth to all the demoniac people. Different reasons. Once upon a time, Parashar began a sacrifice in which all the demons were to be burnt to death because his father had been killed and devoured by one of them. The great sage Vashishta Muni arrived at the sacrifice and requested Parashar to stop the deadly action. And because of Vashishta's position and respect in the community of sages, Parashar could not deny the request. Parashar, having stopped the sacrifice, Pulastya, the father of the demons, appreciated his Brahminical temperament and gave the blessing that in the future he would be a great speaker on the Vedic literatures called the Puranas, the supplements of the Vedas. Parashar's action was appreciated by Pulastya because Parashar had forgiven the demons out of his Brahminical power of forgiveness. Parashar was able to demolish all the demons in the sacrifice, but he considered demons are so made that they devour living creatures, men and animals. But why, on that account, should I withdraw my Brahminical qualification of forgiveness? See the viewpoint and the consciousness. Of course, earlier he had performed a sacrifice that all the demons should die. So somehow his father was killed by a demon. I don't know the story here. But Vashishth Muni approached him and asked him, don't do that. One reason they asked the sages to forgive, because if he had kept on doing his sacrifice and he killed all the demons, then the whole universe would have become imbalanced. Everybody has a role to play in this universe, and one should not be cause of imbalance. Let the nature takes its own toll. So Parashamuni thought demons are so made that they devour living creatures, men and animals. But why on that account should I withdraw my Brahminical qualification of forgiveness? So demoniac people will continue to do the crazy things. But we have to see where that we don't give up our natural qualities. Just like there's a story of a sage, he went to a river to take bath. And in the river water, he saw one scorpion. Scorpion was floating, and somehow the scorpion was struggling and hard to get out of the river water to remain alive. So sage, out of his compassion, in his palms, he took some water along with the scorpion, and he wanted to throw the scorpion on the ground away from water. But before he could do that, the scorpion bit him, and the sage it was painful, so he just let the scorpion go. And the scorpion fell down in water again, and he was struggling. The sage again picked him up, and again he was going to put him on the ground, but the scorpion bit him again. Again, the sage was hurt, and the scorpion fell down from his hands. And third time again he picked up. And then there was another person standing nearby, and he was seeing the whole thing. He said, "Why you are picking up this scorpion again and again? You know he's going to bite you." The sage said, "The scorpion by nature is very envious, and he has so much of poison in him, poison of envy. And this is his nature to bite anybody who even tries to help him. But it's my nature to help him, to help every living creature. So scorpion is not giving up his nature, so why should I give up my nature?" So that's a thought process of great, great, great sages. Our thought process is to put Nahle pe dahla right away. As a great speaker of the Puranas, Parashar first of all spoke on Srimad Bhagwatam Purana because it is the foremost of all the Puranas. Maitreya desired to narrate the same Bhagwatam he had heard from Parashar. And Vidura was qualified to hear it because of his faithfulness and his following the instructions received from superiors. So Srimad Bhagavatam was being narrated from time immemorial by the disciplic succession, even before the time of Vyasadeva. The so-called historians calculate the Puranas to be only a few hundred years old, but actually the Puranas existed from time immemorial, before all historical calculations by the mundaners and speculative philosophers. So we have to understand the history of scriptures from scriptures only. There's no other way. So Parashar Muni, he became a great speaker of Puranas because he got blessed by Pulastya Rishi. And in fact, Parashar Muni, he compiled one Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana is written by Parashar Muni. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So, Prabhuji, you talked about Scorpion. He is envious in nature by itself. There are the zodiac signs also with scorpions. Do they have also the same behaviors and features?
Say again, who has Scorpion?
Some of the zodiac signs with Scorpion zodiac.
I don't know. The astrologers would know. They have some quality. That's why the sign is that. Because among animals, they don't change their nature. Whatever nature is given, they remain. Like Aries have their different nature. So the person with Arian zodiac sign, he will have that kind of qualities. But again, there are other influences of other planets. Similarly with the bull, Vrishabh Rashi. So yes, scorpions will have their own nature.
Yeah, because why if you see the other signs, Sagittarius, they also resemble some animal signs. I think it's goat sign or something, and then many others. So probably they inculcate the behaviors and the features of those which depicts in those the zodiac sign.
True, but all the animals, they have good and bad qualities at the same time. It depends how we take those qualities.
For example, I am a Piscean, so born in March, month of March. So it's written, it's given. I mean, I just read a little bit on astrology, and it says that the way the fish, try to hide, from any threats which is coming in front, they easily know how to, escape from that place. So, and many Pisceans I've met, it's like the same thing. It's a very common thing to say, okay, we know how to escape and all things. I mean, they say that we inherit those features which is there in the fish. I don't know how far it is actually correct.
I don't know, but that could be taken in a negative or a positive way.
Yes.
That part I don't know. So astrology is a big science, so one has to go really deep into it. Radha Prabhu knows much more about astrology.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.